It's the start of a new year and I'm feeling very inspired to create some new DIY wall art. And after years of DIYing, you'd think that I would have mastered it all. And I went to go check on my project and it is not good, guys. Today's projects have challenged me to problem solve and come up with some creative solutions. So I'm going to show you the good, the bad, and the real of DIY. Happy New Year, you guys! I hope that you're having a wonderful start to 2023. I am so ready to jump into the new year with some new DIY projects. I asked you guys a couple videos back what you would like to see more of in the new year, and a lot of you said DIY wall art, so I am here to deliver that. These are pieces that are definitely going to make a statement, and I'm actually going to use them in a future makeover, so keep your eyes peeled for a future video. I also think that these are projects that anyone can do, but they're going to make such a big impact, so without further ado, let's jump into the first project. Alright guys, so this first project is something that I've been seeing floating around on the interwebs. It's this really beautiful three-dimensional art that has so much movement and texture to it. I really love how it looks. It honestly looks like a piece of art that you would find at West Elm, and I've seen it done a couple of ways where people have put fabric and glue onto a canvas, and that will definitely get you a lot of that wavy texture. But I also saw someone make it with some air dry clay, so that is what I'm going to try today. I actually have never tried air dry clay on a canvas before, so I think it's going to be interesting to see how that interacts. I want to make a diptych with them, so it'll be a set of 2. So I grabbed some of these really affordable canvases. I got a pack of 6 for like $12. You can make this as large or as small as you want, but I went for a 12 by 16, so I'm gonna grab 2 of them out of this pack. Ow. Okay, so I think this is a good size, especially since we're testing it out. I didn't want to do anything too large, so we have 2 of them side by side. I think that'll look really good on a wall. And of course, we'll need some air dry clay, so I got a big tub of it. This is brand new. You can get this at any craft store. I just think this one is super easy to work with, and if you're new to air dry clay, I would definitely suggest for you to watch my air dry clay video. I share all of my best tips and tricks and hacks in that video, which I'm definitely going to use today. The first thing that you want to do with this is basically roll out a huge slab that's going to be large enough to fit over the canvas. I don't even think I have a rolling pin that large, so I'm gonna have to go find one. I don't know why, but I like to smell the tub. It always reminds me of elementary school art class. Okay, let's find my rolling pin. I found all my tools, but I also found this dowel that I had in my wood scraps, so I feel like I can use this as a rolling pin as well. I also laid down some parchment paper because it's actually wider than my canvas, but if it ends up being too big, I'm just gonna start rolling on my actual tabletop. Oh my god. That was not supposed to happen. So we're gonna cut some off here. But we basically just want to start rolling it to create a really big slab. I'm gonna roll this out as flat as I can, and I also want to make it large enough to cover the entire canvas and then some. Also, after using this dowel, I really would not recommend it for rolling out clay. 1, it took me forever, and 2, it also hurt my hand because of how small it was, so I would definitely recommend using something larger, and maybe I should have gone back to using my Coke can here. I'm going to carefully lift it, but it is pretty thin and fragile, so let's see. This is the thinnest slab I've ever rolled. Okay, they make it look so much easier to do online. Okay, well this part got stuck, but that's okay. I'll probably add it on later. I'm gonna place my canvas down and then basically drape this on top. And from here, you basically just want to mold it however you want to create that really wavy effect. I'll make some creases here. Ooh, okay. And what's cool is that you can keep lifting it up and just creating whatever texture you want to get your effect. that took a little bit longer than I thought it would, and that's just because I was spending so much time trying to smooth everything out. But here is how it's looking so far. I think it looks really cool. A couple of things that I learned is that if you want there to be a lot of texture, you definitely have to roll out a really big slab. So I would say that this project is probably better if you use a smaller canvas. So with that said, I want to try this again, but with a smaller canvas. I have one that I just used for practice for one of my other paintings, so I'm going to use this one. So I want to try this again because I want something that looks really organic and has a lot of wavy patterns. Right now this is looking very angular, but I want there to be like bigger shapes around the whole entire thing, and to do that I just need to roll out a bigger slab. I'm actually not sure which way I'm going to hang this up yet, but I'm going to let this dry, and then afterwards we're also going to paint it. Here we go again.
First video of the year, how are you feeling?
Good. I'm so excited to be working with air dry clay. Also, the style was starting to hurt my hands, so definitely get a rolling pin or something larger like a can or a wine bottle. That'll make everything easier, but it's taking literally forever just to roll this out. You want to do what?
I want to add pepperonis on this.
This is as big as I could get it, and it definitely covers the entire thing. So let's drape it over and see how it goes. Okay. Onto the canvas. Okay. This look is definitely what I was going for, so now I'm gonna let it dry, which I'm very nervous about. So I'm actually going to put it inside a cupboard. That way it'll dry a lot slower, and hopefully that also means that we won't get any cracks. It is the next day now, and I went to go check on my project, and it is not good, guys. So I put one of them in this little cupboard to dry, and I left a little gap open just so that it'll dry slowly, and look. There are cracks everywhere. The horror. And the bigger one I actually put in this box and covered with plastic to try to slow down the drying process, and same thing happened here. I think especially with the edges, since the clay does dry, it ends up just like breaking as it dries down, and you'll see even the middle's not dry yet. So I feel like it's gonna start cracking in here as well. I'm gonna try to fix it. To be honest, I don't know how much of it I can fix with some more clay, but we will try our best. I think instead what I'm going to do is try out a different clay and see if that will dry. Otherwise, I am so confused on how people are able to do this online. I really did not use that much water, so I think it is just the fact that I'm using air dry clay and that it's shrinking. Usually when working on air dry clay projects, I don't recommend you to cover it with the surface because it will start cracking once it dries because it's not stuck to the surface. I don't know if that makes any sense. So I was skeptical of going in this, but I thought maybe since a canvas is more flexible, it would work better, but clearly that is not happening. So I'm going to try to find a solution and make this project work. This is as good as it's gonna get, so I'm gonna put it back in the cupboard and let it dry and show you guys how this turns out. Okay, I'm back and I'm more determined than ever to make this project work. So I got a different type of clay. So this is actually modeling clay and it's by the brand Das. I've seen a lot of people use this brand, but I've actually have never tried it really for myself. I believe this is the same clay that I saw someone on TikTok use. So fingers crossed that this works, and hopefully third time's the charm. What I've learned from doing this project is to make sure you're using the right material from the jump. In all my years of DIY, I've only tried out the Crayola air dry clay, clay, which is a little bit closer to ceramic clay, whereas this one is more of a modeling clay and it's going to dry down a lot differently from the Crayola one. I'm sure a lot of us as DIYers have gone into a project using the wrong materials or even the wrong tools and end up being disappointed by the end result, especially when things don't go as planned, but I also think it's a great learning opportunity so that you can get even better the next time you try it out. And even when something fails, there's always an opportunity to go back and make it exactly how you want, so I'm gonna go back and fix the previous project. I hope you guys are learning a lot from watching me go through this process, and now that I've tried out this type of clay, it's giving me so many ideas on how to use it for even more exciting projects in the future. It actually has been 2 days since I fixed it, and yes, I'm wearing the same outfit for continuity, but I have some good news and some bad news. The good news is the modeling clay totally worked. I am so happy to see that there are no cracks on here. The one thing that I'm noticing is a lot of like wrinkles here and there, so I'm hoping that some paint will cover that up. But so far, this looks like it's the way to go. And then I have some bad news, which is the air dry clay one, even though I fixed it, it still is just cracking all over the place. I still really like this one because of the shapes and the textures on it, so I'm going to fix it. And if any of you at home have tried this before and your projects have cracked, this might be a good solution to fix it. So I'm gonna fix it first with some joint compound. I think at this point, joint compound is just a DIYer's best friend, so I'm gonna put some on here and then that should fix it. Whoa, why is it so watery? This is working pretty well, you guys. Oh, what's funny is I actually shared a little sneak peek on my Instagram story, and one of my friends DM'd me back and she said she actually liked the cracked look. She thought I gave it kind of a distressed vintage look, so if you like that look, you could totally leave it. And something else I noticed is that a lot of the cracking is happening on the edges, but the middle is still intact, so I'm going to save this as best as I can. So in the past, if a project didn't work out, I would literally just scrap it and not show you guys. But now that I've done so many DIY projects, I know that not all of them will work out according to plan, and you just have to find a way to fix it and make it work. And it really is all about trusting the process. So if you ever work on a DIY and it's not going according to plan, just keep calm and DIY on it, because I know this is gonna be worth it. On to the next project, we are going to create some large scale art. This is actually going to be put into a future makeover that I'm doing next month, so keep your eyes peeled for it. So I have a large canvas here. It was buy one get one free, so this was quite a good deal for this size. I also went to the fabric store and picked up this kind of linen-y material. You could also use a canvas drop cloth and that would work perfectly as well, but I just wanted something with an off-white color so that the paint will show through. We will also be stamping this, so I have some leftover foam from a previous package that I have, but you could also do this project with the potato and make a stamp, and that would work perfectly as well. I also am using white acrylic paint, and that is basically everything that you need for this project. I really love this layered look, and if you're a fan of wall hangings, this gives you a similar look, but it's much more elevated because we're using the canvas material and attaching it to a base and then framing it. I cannot believe that another year has come and gone, and I'm so excited to bring you guys even more DIYs, art, and makeovers, and just sharing more creativity this year. We have big plans for 2023, and I'm so excited to bring you along. We're also headed on our first big trip of the year in a couple of weeks, so we're just working really hard to film videos for you guys. There are a couple of big projects and makeovers that we're working on before we go, so I hope you guys are excited as I am. Okay, doesn't this look so much more expensive now that we've just added some fringe to the edges? This is gonna make the perfect backdrop for our wall art, so I'm going to glue it onto the canvas, and I'm just gonna use some Mod Podge for that. Little stamps here, and I think we are ready to go. I taped off the border here, and then I also drew some guidelines, so I have a mark in the center here, and that's where we're going to start and work our way outwards. I'm kind of just eyeballing this because I want it to feel a little bit more organic, but with these guidelines it'll help keep it balanced as well. Alright guys, let's start painting. Going into this design, I alternated the direction of each of the semicircles, so there isn't necessarily a repeating pattern here, but I definitely wanted it to look uniform. I started in the center, and you'll see that I'm doing this column by column, and I kind of did this in pairs so that each of the columns are going to be the same width. I was kind of just going with the flow and placed it wherever I thought it looked most balanced. So I would do two facing the same way and then facing the opposite way, and then I also face some towards each other and then outwards. And you'll see that I'm turning it around in all different directions to create a beautiful, unique look. And my goal here is when it's all done, you can take a step back and it will look like a cohesive design. I am really loving this look. I think I'm gonna go ahead and just define some of these with the sponge brush. I really love all the texture that's going on here, and the backdrop just looks so perfect with the white. So overall, very happy. And it's totally up to you if you want to paint these in so that they're more solid, but I really love that texture look, so we're gonna keep it like that, but define some of these edges over here. This piece is looking pretty amazing if I do say so myself. I'm actually not sure yet if I'm going to hang it landscape or portrait, but either way it looks really good. I think any way that you put it, it looks amazing. And of course, I can't just leave it like this. One of my favorite ways to make any DIY art look a little bit more expensive is by adding trim. This is probably the last of my DIY barn door scrap pieces, so I am putting this to good use. Usually I like to go with something a little bit wider so that the canvas looks bigger than it actually is, but this is all I have on hand right now, so that is what I'm going to use. I do like that it is a chunkier frame, so that's gonna look really good. I'm gonna cut it, brand nail it together, and then show you guys the final look. we have gone through to create these beautiful projects, you guys. Let me know in the comments which project was your favorite and which one you would tackle this year. I hope this video gave you some new inspiration on different techniques that you can try to create your own DIY artwork at home. And now I'm super excited to have some new pieces to decorate some makeovers coming up super soon. We have a lot of fun videos coming up, so I hope that you guys are as excited as I am. And if you're not already subscribed, make sure you do so that you don't miss out on any of my future videos. If you'd like to see more from me, make sure to follow along over on Instagram. I share behind the scenes and post every single day over there. That is it for me today. Thank you so much for watching. Stay inspired, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!